You are listening to the Message Talk Show and Podcast. Do you believe you have something to share? Do you believe you have something to contribute? Do you have a story to tell the world, to share with your community? Gandhi said, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So join us on the Message Talk Show and Podcast with host Alex Gordon. Good morning, world. Good morning. Good morning once again. We're here. We're back. Broadcasting from London to the world. Over 7 billion people out there listening to the Message Talk Show. It's an amazing show today. We have an amazing guest in the house today. An amazing speaker, an amazing woman. So creative. Say hi, Lorlett.
Hello there.
Lorlett will be talking to us today. We'll be having a big discussion about mastering your creative genius. Now, let me give you some instructions before we start the show. To those of you listening on Facebook, just press the like button below and press the share button, okay? Like and share. And for those of you listening on LinkedIn, press the like button and press the share button as well. And for those listening on YouTube, press the share button and subscribe. Is that okay? Subscribe and share. Now, we're talking about mastering your creative genius. And I think in this time that we're in, this type of lockdown, so many people have lost their lives. So many people have lost their jobs. You know, we pay respect to those who are grieving at the moment. But the one thing that we have today that we've probably never realized we have is our creative ability. Would you agree with me, Lorlett, that we have a creative ability within us?
Every day, every minute, every hour, every second. Most definitely, because, you know, creativity is your ideas, your thoughts. Something isn't there, then you put it there. I always say to people, if it's not there, put it there. That's your creativity.
Hey, I like that already. If it's not there, put it there. Lorlett, you better copyright that one, you know. If it's not there, put it there. I just love that one. So Lorlett, tell me, who are you?
That's an interesting question. I'm somebody who's really, really passionate about life and entrepreneurship. I am somebody who is really passionate about life. That's it. Passionate around what's happening around me, the environment, people making a difference, taking myself on. That is it. So who I am is somebody who is passionate.
So you're passionate about life. You're passionate about leadership. Now, I tracked down your website. I had to track down your website because the domain name One Hand Can't Clap means something. What does it mean?
Partnership, collaboration, teamwork, community, anything that brings people together. Relatedness, you know, anything that involves people. That is it. One Hand Can't Clap is really around you as an individual, finding yourself with other people and contributing to other people.
Does One Hand Can't Clap have a Caribbean origin?
Well, yes.
Is there a story there?
There's a big story. My grandmother always says one hand can't clap. So when I decided to develop the business, I wanted something that keep the heritage alive and preserve the heritage of community. Because I think community is breaking down and it's important for everyone to have a social network in terms of community. And when you look around, the older generation are passing away. So how do you maintain that? So I wanted something which preserved the heritage and keep the community connected to the story around One Hand Can't Clap. And you're right, One Hand Can't Clap is so relevant within the Caribbean community. But since then, a lot of people have been telling me that it comes from different places, which everyone have their own proverbs. But for me, it's Jamaican. That's my well, Brown would say.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing because I remember some time ago when an explanation was given about One Hand Can't Clap. We talk about it takes a community to grow a child. It takes a community to bring up a generation, and I think that sometimes that's what we're missing in this country now.
Yeah, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, a village to raise a child, and if you think about it. I don't know if you, when you were growing up, but you know, you would go to your auntie's house, and if you was ever in trouble, you would find an aunt or an uncle to go and speak to your mom on your behalf, you know. And so there's always someone to tap into.
Yes, there's always someone to negotiate on your behalf. Yes, to plead mercy. I think those times we were frightened of the belt. That's what it was. We were frightened of the belt. What was going to happen when we got home?
That's right. And it wasn't even so much about the beating. It's just the consequences. You know, we were brought up knowing that whatever you do, there's a consequences. So even before you reach your parents or whoever it may be, there was always a consequence going on in your mind. I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I remember those times myself because I spent my former years in the Caribbean, and that was just amazing time when you had the freedom, but at the same time, your parents always want to know, where are you? Where are you going? What you up to? You know, that's amazing. So Lorlett, what is it that you do, Lorlett? What are you involved in?
Developing people, especially African Caribbean professionals, because when you look at the stats, when you look at the data, when you look around in terms of representation, you don't see that many African Caribbean professionals in leadership positions. They're there, but you don't know about them. So I decided to develop their skills, develop the capacity to enable them to navigate themselves around the system, understand that all, code settings, because we all have different codes for different situations. So for example, when you're at home, it's a different way you behave. When you're going to corporate, it's a different way you behave.
True.
And some people don't have those fundamental core skills to switch, code switching, to understand, well, this is how you be. So like growing up, in the Caribbean and here, there is a way you operate. So as soon as you reach home, I mean, it's interesting around what's happening right now. As soon as you reach home, you take off your street clothes and you put on your house. So it's that understanding the environment and the situation. So now with what's happening, as soon as you go out the street, you come back, you take off your street clothes because you don't want to pick up the virus. True. It was always there.
It was always there. That's true. But what do you mean by you said that Caribbean professionals are there, but they're not getting to the top? What is that?
Representation. I mean, I call it the lonely one. Most places that I go, after you reach a certain position in your life, you go wherever you go, you're the only one. I call it the lonely one. I go to conferences, I go to different events, and 9 times out of 10, I'm the only one there. So my question is, why isn't there more of us in certain areas and certain arenas? When you think about a multicultural society that we live in, we're not competing at 100%. And I know the systems and the structures and all the other things that's behind it. But I work with the individual and said, anything is possible. Nothing should stop you. You should be able to go anywhere you want to go.
But is that not fear on our part? Fear of not pushing ourselves, not getting noticed, not making ourselves available for those positions? Is it not fear?
I think it's a matter of mindset. And, sometimes the environment that you find yourself in, who you surround yourself with is so important, because who you surround yourself with might tell you, don't do that. And sometimes it's not because people are being horrible. It's just because they are fearful for you. Even like our own parents, sometimes they say, keep your head down, don't really push the boat too much and all of that. So play small, don't hang your basket further than you can reach it. So just make sure you just stay within the limits and not put yourself out there too much.
Keep your head down. These are statements that are going way back. Keep your head down, just to stay inside and don't get noticed.
That's right. I remember there was a story with Les Brown where I think him and his mom was out somewhere and something happened. And the white policeman would have really hurt him. So the mom actually gave him a good eye, beat him to save him. Because hadn't she given him a good beating, the policeman probably would have killed him.
My God.
Exactly. So, parents is always protecting us in that sense. When you go somewhere, make sure you keep your head down. Don't upset the apple cart. You got a job. Keep quiet. Don't say too much.
Yeah, but some of those things that have protected us is now also the things that are probably hindering us now.
Yeah.
in our DNA?
I mean, if you look at even the biblical, children should be seen and not heard. So we've been brought up on that. And what the results of that is we don't speak up in meetings. We don't say what we're supposed to say. I mean, a lot of people might say, okay, that was in the past, and now you're an adult, you should know better. But if you've been conditioned that way, not to speak up because there's consequences, then you don't speak up, and that don't get you to where you need to get to.
Wow.
So it's about knowing the balance, knowing when and how not to, and when to.
Yeah, and then we practice it so much it becomes part of who we are. So we're talking about mastering your creativity now. So regardless of where you are now, regardless of what position you're in, the one thing you have right now in this particular period we're in is your creative ability. But some people, some of us, and I have to say myself as well, some of us didn't realize that we have creative abilities. Have you found that in your travels?
Well, the fact of the matter is you don't know until you know, Alex. You just don't know until you know, regardless, right? Until you step out there and do something. It's like you're going on a journey. You have no idea where you're going, but you're going somewhere. And some people are very clear and some people are not. So they discover themselves. I'm sure you driving sometimes, you probably think, okay, right, this is where I'm going. And then you end up there. It's like a natural instinct, a natural intuition. And you end up and you think, well, how did I get here? So that's the thing around creativity. It's like baking a cake, isn't it? You throw everything in. You never make it before because I can't read recipes. I just can't follow recipes. If it says put 2 spoons in, I'll put 3 in because my thing is, okay, a little bit extra make it nicer. So it's understanding that. And when you finish it, you think, oh my goodness. Creativity, you have said to me, I always respond to cooking because that is it. You start off with some ingredients. You have no idea what it's going to be like until when it's finished and you finish eating it. So that's creativity.
After you finish eating it, you don't know what it's going to be like.
Exactly. And when you think of right now, you might only have lemon at home and you run out of drinks. You might only have lemon and some sugar. So basically, you make some lemonade, but a bit of vanilla in there, a bit of this, a bit of this. And then you think, wow, that's amazing. And then you put it in the fridge and that's it. Creativity. Wow. You're going out at the last minute, a friend of yours might call you and say, okay, let's go to a party or something. And you think, my goodness, I haven't got anything new to wear or whatever. Then you start to rummage into your wardrobe or whatever. So then by the time you finish, you thought, okay, right, that's it. It might be a t-shirt, Alex, where you just quickly tie up that way, tie up that.
And create your own fashion, huh?
That's right. And we know, as a race of people, we've always done that. We've always been trendsetters. We always start, whether it's having a cap or it doesn't look right that way, so you turn it that way, then it's fashion, isn't it?
But what comes natural to us, we don't probably see as creativity.
That's right.
So we don't get recognized for it at all.
We don't recognize it. Because not until you recognize it, no one else is going to recognize it. Somebody else would look at it and think, oh, that's nice. I can make money out of that. And Alex is sitting there still, okay, right. Yes. That's it.
So how do we recognize what we have? Is there a way to do it, or do we just have to push it out there?
I think if you have an idea and the people around you who you share the idea with would say, yes, a great idea. So I'll give you the example of myself and the box of cards. I was working in schools with some young people, and I wanted to engage them in the context of understanding their culture, their heritage, and identity. And how do you do that in terms of what they know at home, conversation they have at home, and then take it into the schools so they feel like sense of belonging. So it's not like when I'm in school, I speak this way, or when I'm at home, I speak this way. Again, it comes down to the code switching. When I'm with my peers, I know exactly how to behave and to connect and to relate. And so the box of cards, things Mama used to say, which I created in 2004, so they're 16 years old. And I shared that with some friends of mine, and I said, what would it be like to have a box of cards which relates to our cultural heritage and keep that going, because the older generation are passing away. And the way how we were brought up, we no longer speak that way or operate in that way. But those are fundamental leadership wisdom. It's how you manage yourself. It's leadership as an experience. This is what I say to people. Leadership is how you live your life. It's how you do things. It's a live experience. And so you share those ideas, and the more people I will share it with, they would say, yes, go ahead and do it. So the people who you surround yourself with is important, because they motivate you, they keep you going, they keep you inspired. Yeah, go on, do it. You need people around you who's going to tell you that when you have those ideas.
Wow,
and sometimes other people recognize your creativity. You don't necessarily recognize it. Other people will tell you.
That's amazing. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back from the break, I want you to show us the box of cards. I want you to open the box of cards. I want you to show us what's inside those box of cards, the tricks that you've got in there. Let's take a break here now.
You are listening to the Message Talk Show and Podcast. Do you believe you have something to share? Do you believe you have something to contribute? Do you have a story to tell the world, to share with your community? Gandhi said, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So join us on the Message Talk Show and Podcast with host Alex Gordon.
Right, so those box of cards. Now, I came across those box of cards about 10 years ago now?
Mm-hmm.
About 10 years ago. And I was amazed when I saw those box of cards. I've walked into training sessions, and the people, the audience are sitting there, they're nervous, they don't want to participate. And I'm thinking, what can I use to stimulate conversation, to stimulate interaction? And I take out your box of cards, share those cards out, and within minutes, people are crying their heads out. Now, let's show us the cards and tell us what's in there.
Okay, so they are flashcards. So one side you've got the Jamaican fatwa, the next side you have the interpretation. So if I'm teaching a class on responsibility, I'd use this card, which says, you can't take medicine for somebody else. It's impossible. No matter what. It could be your child, it could be your best friend, whoever it is, you just can't take the medicine for them, right? So everyone has to be responsible for their own actions. And that's it, in a nutshell. And the reason why I put them in a box is that we never lose them. You finish using them, you put them in the box, you put them back. So they will be around for the next century, for the next how many long time, that we never lose them. So put them in a box.
You can't take medicine for somebody else. Did I say it right?
You can't take medicine for somebody else. Come on, Alex. You can't take medicine.
You can't take medicine for somebody else.
That's right.
And these sayings are so simple, but there are lessons inside of them.
And it's the way they throw out, the way our parents used to say, it's like passing through. They're not standing up and having a conversation with you. It's just a throwaway conversation. And you just think, what? What? But the reality is when it sits in, and the great thing about it is how you listen. How you listen. And it's what you heard, what the person said. And if you apply that to leadership, is understanding that it's not what the person said, it's what you hear. And when you hear that and interpret it, then you take an action. So I might say something to you, Alex, right? And what you heard, somebody else heard something completely differently. Two people in a room, conversation are going, something got said, two different people interpret it completely different, and that's it, take different actions. And then you will say, but that's not what I meant. And the other person said, well, that's what I heard. So that's the reality.
So that is amazing. That is amazing. So when you put these cards together, how did you, the whole packaging that you've put together for those cards, what prompted that? What the whole packaging?
Well, that's a really good question. my degree is mass communication. So that whole thing around how communication works. So you learn the psychology of marketing, the psychology of selling, what you put together. So for foremost, the color, the yellow, the red, the purple, it draws people in, because when people open the box and see the yellow, it's like, okay. So I went to see a psychologist who told me this color works, yellow works. And if you go into stores like Selfridges, the psychology is actually there, because you walk in and you smell perfume or baking, the bread, you smell the bread going, and you're thinking, wow, it draws you in, doesn't it? So first of all, you have to think about what are you willing to tell people that's the color, this is it. What's the presentation? What's the promise? What are you actually saying to people when they say it? Because presentation is very, very important in terms of key. It's key. Presentation is key. Color is key. So it's not just about picking up a color and just put it together. You have to spend time thinking about what works. So when you think of the Caribbean, for example, it's red. It's a Caribbean flower. And yellow is the sun. So you actually get to understand the whole components of it. So some people might think, oh, well, I can put a box of cards together. Yes, you can. But you have to understand the process of what it took in order to create that. And then you got different flowers, different images, which remind you of the Caribbean.
Yeah, amazing.
And then the right people. I just so happened to be, had friends around who were great at creating amazing things. And, the designer was just amazing, because he wanted to do it, he was passionate about it. Caribbean background, passionate around it, he likes the idea. So, when you have creative people who are excited about things, then things just work. There are times when we have, but understanding the people around you is important.
That's true. We have a Michael Earls just put a comment on it, and he said that yes, we are creative beings. He's also said, nice to meet you, Lorlett. He's met you somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he said that we are better together when we're talking about community.
Yes,
and he's showing the two hands. The two hands clap better. Two hands clap better. Who's ever heard of one hand can clap, huh?
I was working in a school, and this is why I love young people when I work with them, because they're so creative and innovative in their minds, right? If you nurture it. And one young spark says to me, yes, miss, I understand. One hand can't clap, but he can slap.
One hand can't clap, but you can slap.
That's right.
Yes, that one's funny. But I'm remembering, and we're going back some years now. I remember when back in the 80s, 90s, we had Japanese cars.
Yeah.
And Japanese cars weren't the best of cars at the time. They had good engines, but the look and feel of them was not very good. And over the years, we've seen the Japanese cars overtake the comfort, the cost efficiency of every other car in Europe. And the reason, I think, one of the reasons why they've been able to do that is that there's a word in my favorite book that says there is nothing new under the sun.
True.
Everything we have around us is a modification of what was there previously.
True.
Would you agree with that?
Innovation.
Yeah, innovation. We adapt something, we modify it, we change it, we bend it. You do something to it to call it something else.
That's right.
And before you know it, you have another product that's out there that people identify with. Why? Because it's an improvement on the last one.
That's right.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
So that's what innovation is all about. Innovate or die. So it's the same thing, but you just innovate on it. You just bring it in. I love that whole concept around innovate or die.
Innovate or die. Do you hear that? Do you hear that, crowd? Do you hear that, audience? Innovate or die. If you don't innovate, you will die in your comfort zone, in your tracks, because you won't improve in anything. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Innovate or die. So, Lorlett, what are you innovating in today's market now, Lorlett? What are you doing now?
Well, I've got to be sharp on my curriculum. I've got to be sharp in terms of what is it I'm delivering, because every day people needs become different. So I've been in business now for 20 years, and the needs that was around then is not the same needs now.
Did you say it was 20 years this year? 20 years this year?
This year, yeah.
Wow, congratulations. Congratulations. That's called for a celebration, Lorlett, man. Oh, dear. Congratulations.
I'm celebrating every day. Every day. To be in business for 20 years in this climate, it takes something.
Amazing.
It takes something. And it's about being innovative, because as you grow, the clients that you probably had, say, 10 years ago, is not the same clients that I'm working with now.
Correct.
Because different situation, different times. And I have to decide who is going to be my client in 2020 in comparison to 2020,
Yeah.
So if I was working with the same people I was working with 20 years ago, the business probably wouldn't be sustainable. So you have to move with the times and find out what is it people needs are, because people needs it.
Well, unless those people have been growing as well, yes? Would you agree?
Yes.
If they have been growing and developing themselves, then you can have a 10-year relationship.
Yeah, listen, I've had people who's been with me from day one, still with me, still being coached, still be mentoring, because they're growing. So you're so true around that, yeah.
Right, so let me take you to. I saw something on your website which I wanted you to explain to us, the audience, what was this that was happening here. So let me just take you right there now at this moment right now. So this is one of your events in London, yeah?
Yeah.
You can see it, yeah?
Yeah, I can.
So what was happening here? You had people standing up, and what was happening here at your event?
Great. So the reason why those pictures are there, it's really about, we have a voice, we have a story, we have something to say. So that's what those pictures is around. So every year I bring speakers in to come and talk around their story, around the experience they've had with Proverbs. Because thousands of us were brought up from Proverbs. So I decided to create an event, an annual event every year, where we all come and share in a community. And normally we have 200 people who come and just be in a community, because I think that community, talking around our stories, sharing our experience with Proverbs, sharing how we've been brought up. We have a voice and we have a story to tell. So that's what that event's about. Come and Ties every year in November.
What do you mean by Proverbs, Lorlett?
Sorry?
You said you bring people together and you people come with Proverbs.
We come with the stories of Proverbs.
Their stories. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
Yes.
So
because
the sayings.
Yeah.
Things that we brought up with
Proverbs. Yeah.
Wow. And this happens every November.
Every November. Yeah.
Is it likely to happen this year at all?
Well, depending on the lockdown, depending on what's what, you have all the plans in place. I mean, no one could envisage what's going to happen in March.
Sure.
Once we're up about walking and doing what we got to do, next thing we lock down in our homes, isn't it? So,
sure.
Yeah.
So if it goes ahead, if it does go ahead, where is it likely to be?
Oh, it's at Clapham Library.
At Clapham Library. Okay.
I think it's the 13th of November. I think. Yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant. Wow, that's amazing. So we can do so many things that brings out our creative genius, brings out our creative ability, and it's the things that we disregard in ourselves. It's the things that we don't look at and we don't recognize it ourselves. But the people around us, this is what you were saying, the people around us helps us to recognize what we have.
Definitely. And if you look, even our skills, our capability, we go in the workplace and we do extremely, extremely well. Other people noticed it, and they can either use it against you or for you. So they know that the workplace knew that you're very good at certain things. So you probably won't get promoted because you're too good at what you do. But you have to.
You won't get promoted because you're too good at what you do. My.
Exactly. I mean, we live in a very, very strange world. Absolutely strange world. Because sometimes the environment that you're in, people recognize how great you are and put you down. You might have friends who recognize your greatness, but put you down because they feel inadequate if you move on. So you as an individual have to realize, where am I going? How is this working for me?
Wow.
And it takes a while to recognize that, the people that I'm with is not the people I need to be moving with.
Wow. That takes a hell of a lot of upheaval within yourself to recognize that and then do something about it.
But you know what? There come a day when you say this, I always say to my clients, it's like this. When you say, this no longer works for me. This no longer works for me. Whether it's your job, whether it's your relationship, wherever it is, there come a time when some people are able to recognize that. And I say to people, great when you do that. So by the time they come to me for coaching, that's where they're at. I am not getting promoted. I'm in this job for the last so many years. So many people are coming in and they get promoted. There must be something that I'm not doing. There's something that I need to know in order to take myself to the next level. Because people are coming in and they get promoted and I'm not. So there's got to be something. So somewhere in.
So people have come in and you've trained them and then got promoted before you.
No. What I'm saying is I'm talking to people who come to my clients.
Yeah.
When you talk about people recognizing, especially their employers, recognize that they are good at what they do.
Correct.
And they're going for the promotion and they're not getting it for whatever reason, right? What I say to them, come to the point where you say, this no longer works for me. I'm sure you did that, Alex, when you leave jobs or something.
You've got to get to that point where it's about where you're going. Yes, it's about where you're going. You have to understand that yourself.
Yeah. But it takes something. Because, we have concerns around how we're going to pay our bills, which is the number one thing all the time. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to take care of my family? So we focus a lot on the concerns. The concerns around, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to take care of my family? How am I going to do that? So once you can get rid of the concerns, then you can jump ship.
Yeah, get rid of the concerns and jump ship. So this is when the creativity comes in now. This is when the creative abilities comes in to think, how can you navigate what's happening to you? How can you get around it and still be promoted and still push yourself? So what you're talking about now is about personal development to get yourself ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Because unless you're doing that at the same time, then you are going to get stuck. No matter how creative you are, you're going to get stuck.
That's right. And so with personal development, you get to recognize that nothing is in the way. There's nothing in the way apart from what you put in the way. You say, this is how it's going to go, and you make it happen. Because it's your thoughts, it's your feeling, it's your thinking. And that's where creativity comes into it. You put your thoughts and your feelings into it. You don't know how it's going to go. And there is a saying, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. It's as simple as that.
You don't know what you don't know until you know it.
That's it. That's creativity.
Another good one. Yeah. That makes me think about that. You don't know what you don't know until you know it.
That's it.
Something forces you to get to know it.
Mm-hmm.
But so sometimes crisis is good then. Things going bad at work is sometimes very good because that forces you to take action.
And
it makes you do something about it.
I can't remember what's his name now, but apparently with his musical instrument, I can't remember the name of it either. But anyway, he dropped it and he kind of bent or something, and then that just become his trademark, you know. And every instrument he bought after that, that's it. He makes sure he got bent that way, because then, you know, it just looked different and unique in that sense. So sometimes situation happens that you're not looking forward to, or you didn't know it's going to happen, and then through creativity you think, oh my goodness, how did that happen?
You're not talking about Jimi Hendrix. I think it was Jimi Hendrix used to smash his guitar or something, yeah?
No, it's
no? Okay.
It's a saxophonist. I can't remember his name.
Okay, all right, okay. Wow. So personal development, developing yourself, pushing yourself, using crisis to take action in your life. You never know when the turning point, you don't know where the turning point is until the turning point happens.
True. And if you look at even in this climate, there is going to be a lot of businesses that's going to really grow out of this situation, because when people, you know, come back down to what I said, if it's not there, put it there. A lot of people are looking down and thinking, well, that's not there. I can create something to tackle that solution, give that, you know, that solution, provide an answer to that. And it's in this day and age. I mean, if you look at all the new businesses that's being developed, Airbnb, Uber, all of them.
Amazing.
Yeah, they came out of giving people a new experience of life.
So different.
I mean, can you imagine staying in somebody's house that you didn't know? You'd be thinking,
yes, that's a good one. Staying in somebody's house that you don't even know them.
That's right.
And now it's being practiced all over the world. It's a multi-billion pound industry.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So during this crisis right now, we're going to see some amazing businesses being born because of the crisis.
Definitely.
Because of people adapting.
I mean, if you think of working from home is a big one, right? I mean, a lot of people resist that, you know, thinking, but some people were able to do that. But now a lot of people are saying, no, we've experienced it. You know, I'm not in a position to go back to any office. I don't want to go back to any office.
Well, yeah, there's a two-edged sword with that, you know, because working from home, what you don't realize now is that working from home is now pushing up your overheads as well. Because, okay, before the summer, before we're in the middle of the summer, all the added cost of heating your house is on your head. You eat more food at home because you're there, so you probably cook more. Am I right?
That's right.
So it's a two-edged sword, and I know companies will be saying, "Well, we don't need those offices anymore because hey, we've got staff who can work from home." And I love human interaction. I love going out. I love being out there. And sometimes you think, okay, if you're in the house for too long, man, house fatigue sets in. Am I right? Would you agree with that?
To me, this whole aspect of working from home doesn't have an impact for me at all in one aspect. Because, I mean, I work from home anyway. I don't have an office. I work from home, right? And a lot of the interaction happen outside. So that's the bit, the social interaction, you know, going to the restaurants, going out there, sitting and having meetings with people and everything else. I miss that bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Zoom call just doesn't work for me because, you know, it's like, okay, right, nothing like a face-to-face, is it? So, you know, you have to look at a lot of things now are being done online, and that's another aspect of it. I mean, I use a lot online shopping for food, so that was really useful. Like getting testers to come in, so I didn't have it. So it didn't really have an impact on me at all in that sense. So you have to look at how the world is changing. Like I was saying to you previously, you have to look at the needs. 25 years ago, only certain people probably did online shopping while they phone up the supermarket for their shopping. Sure. Now, every Joe Blogs now is doing that.
Everybody. And I was saying the other day, one of the things I've recognized during this time as well is I've seen more Amazon grey vans than anything else doing deliveries.
That's right.
Amazon
And
just seemed like it just exploded during this crisis.
I mean, when you talk about creativity, you have to look at how the world works. Always look at what's happening. So, for example, during this time, most of the supermarkets, you have to pay by card. They weren't taking any cash. Correct. So I would say in another 10 years, there ain't going to be any cash around.
Yeah, that's
true. People who don't have bank accounts or being able to use cards. So you have to look at the trend of what's actually happening around you.
Yeah, and this is pushing us faster. It's making it happen faster than we anticipated it. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, this is amazing what's happening. But in all of what's happening, we have to make sure that we ourselves, as individuals, don't miss the turning points and get left behind. Am I right?
We have to stay relevant.
We've got to stay relevant.
You have to stay relevant. You have to really and truly making sure, how am I growing? How am I learning? And how am I remaining relevant? Because it doesn't matter what, as fast as something happened today. It's like fashion, isn't it? What might be fashion this week, next week is out of fashion.
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Yeah. No, that's true.
Definitely.
No, but even though I remember having some suits, right? And when I first got married, I had some suits that I had from like 25 years ago, and I loved those suits. And my wife threw my suits out. So she threw them out, so they was too old. Do you know, I've seen those suits come back around. I have seen those suits come back around.
The thing is, Alex, can you fit into them?
No, okay, all right. I admit it now. I'm not as skinny as I used to be. But probably, if I'd hang on to them, I probably would have had something in sight to think, right, I need to stay trim for these suits.
All right. Okay.
But fashion does go around. It does go around. But hey,
what goes around come around. It's true. It's true. Definitely.
Okay. So we're coming to our finishing point now. We're to wrap the show up. And what is the final word you'd give to the community, to our community, to our world about creativity? What would you say?
Keep on learning. Keep on growing. Keep on creating. Keep on innovating. Because the world is changing, and it's like you have to stay relevant. You have to stay relevant because things move so fast. And I think this whole crisis demonstrates that. 1 minute we were just operating normal, and within a few days, the airport's locked down, everything's locked down. I mean, I think it was up to everybody, So it's about having that mindset around change. And I know we don't like change. Nobody likes it. Well, it's forced upon us, and that's the reality. So I would say the last word is get ready.
Get ready. Keep learning, keep moving, keep growing, and get ready for the change. Oh, awesome. That is awesome. And in wrapping up the show, I want you guys to understand out there with your creativity that you must be able to adapt. You must be able to modify things. You must be able to change things, combine things. Creativity comes from the changes we make around us with what we see. Everything around us has been created by somebody of some sort, by a generation, someone out there. And you can make another change, another adaptation, and call it yours. Look at Facebook. Look at YouTube. Look at all these things we've seen around us that we're now using every day. Look at Zoom. Just look at all what's around us. It's not that they weren't there before. They were there in different forms. But now we see them even more. We recognize them even more. Lorlett, I want to thank you for coming on the show today, sharing with us your years of experience, your adaptability to the last 20 years of growing your business and inputting into our community, helping leaders develop, helping people change their mindsets. That's an amazing achievement, Lorlett. And you said that we got to get ready. Now that's get ready.
Get ready. That's it. So thank you, Alex, for having me. Much appreciated. It's such a great opportunity to share. I love it. Thank you.
Don't disappear, Lorlett. Well, I go back to the sponsor and we'll say goodbye.
You are listening to the Message Talk Show and Podcast. Do you believe you have something to share? Do you believe you have something to contribute? Do you have a story to tell the world, to share with your community? Gandhi said, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So join us on the Message Talk Show and Podcast with host Alex Gordon.
So if you're passionate about what you do, if you love what you do and passionate about what you do, and you want to get yourself up, make contact with the Message Talk Show and get featured as a guest. Thank you so much for tuning in. And passion creates change in our world. So you're passionate about what you do, then hey, help to create the change that we see. Thank you very much.